Welcome to Living in the Limelight podcast. This is our Halloween edition, if you haven't guessed already. And my guest for today is going to be Audrey, who is my wife, and one who's we've been together, 25 years or
24 years.
Married, but going on, with each other.
Been together 25 years. Well, happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween.
This is fun. Peace, everyone.
As you can see, we are a little dressed up today for the occasion.
That's right.
We like to do this kind of thing. It's kind of fun. But basically, this podcast is just all about music and bringing in other people's perspective of music. So we're going to have a musician perspective and then a non-musician's perspective in music. So first of all, though, I just wanted to get everyone to know who we are and how we came to where we are today. So, Audrey, we can discuss how we met, how we came about, and how we came to where we're at today.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been 20 plus years.
Yeah.
We met at work. You were in management, and I was at the time an art director in the art department for a printing company, and you were handling the management end of things within the company, and we got to know each other. It was great. And our love blossomed for each other. I really enjoyed how we grew and seeing all the people and how you communicated with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's made me fall in love with you, and I enjoyed that very much. But it's been a great ride, and that includes with our 23-year-old son Liam, who is now in computer development.
Yeah.
He's doing great. He lives with his girlfriend Heather in Phoenix, and they have 2 cats, and it's just so nice to see that they're doing so well too. And I'm glad we're here in Arizona. I miss Chicago. I do miss Chicago.
Yeah.
I do miss Chicago. I miss the culture.
Yeah.
And the art
things.
museums.
Yeah.
Phoenix is great, but boy, the food. Let's talk about the food.
Yeah, the Chicago food, and I think is a big thing. I don't miss the weather. I know you like the weather changes. I'm not big on weather changes, but the people, the food, and just the entertainment alone. The entertainment that was in Chicago, the music scene, things like that, the plays, the Broadway shows, things like that, that were there.
It's a larger city too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have moved down here from Chicago.
Yeah, there's a lot of people from Chicago.
And they're bringing the
In
culture.
Arizona.
But I do miss Chinatown. I remember going to Chinatown.
Sure. Yeah.
That was my favorite. I'd take Liam. You'd be out there playing your music shows, and on those evenings I'd take Liam out on different events.
Right.
So, things like that I miss.
So at that time, I think I was always into music. You were not as much into music in the very beginning, right? You said that you had gone to a concert or two. I think Scorpions was your first concert?
Scorpions was my first concert, and I could count on 2 hands how many concerts I've been to. I like Gwen Stefani. We went to Gwen Stefani, but I think our best concert or venue we went to see was Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton, yeah.
And it was pre-COVID. So he was literally within 1 foot of you when we were sitting next to him. It wasn't a big venue. It was like in a bar in Caesar's Palace in Vegas. But that was a great experience. What do you remember about that?
Well, it was shaped like a ship, right? Like a barge or something. At the front of a ship. And the stage was up in front, and then we had front row seats, which was at a table, and he was literally this close as you are to me now, and just seeing a legend like that was amazing to me, just to be this close to him, helping him on and off the stage when he was, noticing all the instruments that he plays, all the things that he did, the stories he was telling. I mean, honestly, I think the whole show, he played I think I remember 7 or 8 songs that he played.
At least.
But I think that was it. There there wasn't much more than that. He was telling his stories in between that time, which fascinated me because of all of the years, that I've known Wayne Newton. But for you, you may have known Wayne Newton from the
Vegas
movies.
Vacation, yeah.
From Vegas Vacation.
Yeah, and I really thought that was really cool.
Right.
But the best part was him walking down off the stage in the bar and mingling with the audience and getting them involved and actually having them join in and singing, just like in the Vegas Vacation movie, where he let what's her name?
Oh,
Beverly D'Angelo.
Yeah.
But what was her name in the
Helen?
Helen.
Is it Helen?
Yeah, Helen was singing. So that was a lot of fun. That was really cool to see. But that was one of my favorites. And then Gwen Stefani, we also saw in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I just like to go see her.
So from the music aspect of it, when you go see Gwen Stefani and when I go see Gwen Stefani, it seemed like we saw the same show, sitting right next to each other, but we were looking at two totally different perspectives of the concert. So when you, for example, for me, when I went to that concert, I looked at things like the stage setup, where the amplifiers were, which were hidden for the most part.
Right, because you're a musician.
I looked at the instruments. I looked at how they performed. I looked at production value. And I know that a lot of people who just go to these shows, like, what did you notice first? Was it just Gwen Stefani that you were focused on with the voice?
Oh,
and
yeah.
the dress,
I'm all about just seeing Gwen Stefani. What she's wearing, how she's singing, but I'm not looking into the technical aspects of anything.
Right.
I just go to enjoy the music, and that's what I do. I don't look at how things are set up. Like, you look at things completely different because we're completely different worlds.
Yeah.
You're a musician. I'm not musically inclined at all. I tried, but nowhere near what you can do. And here, even when I tried singing once in the House of Dogs, literally ran underneath the bed. And that's true, right?
Yeah.
Were you home when that happened?
No, I
don't know.
think so. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Yeah, they did.
But we did try to do a couple of things. We did a video together. I mean, just fun things I think that we do that I think that kind of shows.
Videos.
Yeah, I think that kind of shows like really your the way that you support what I do. I mean, honestly, I haven't changed in the many years that we've been together. I mean, when we first met, I was for real like what you're dressed up as. I was the hippie.
The long
I
hair.
had the long hair.
When I first met you, you had the really long hair.
Right.
And I didn't want to change you or anything. You who you were, but I remember you ended up cutting your hair for your sister.
I did, yeah. So I'd said that my sister who had breast cancer, I did say that if she survived it, got over it, that I would cut off all my hair.
And you did.
Give it to Locks of Love. Yeah, I would donate it. I did donate it. That was a traumatic experience going to the salon, and they just walked up right behind me.
Put it in a rubber band.
They put it in a rubber band. They braided it all down in a rubber band, and then they just came up behind me and cut it. And it was this big silence and gasp in the whole place, and then everybody applauded afterwards.
Yeah, that was at Mario Tricotti's. That was a big salon in Chicago.
Yeah. So that was pretty traumatic, and but it was one of those things to where I was the hippie, and you weren't. When I looked at you, it was like automatic. It was like, oh gosh, look at this beautiful woman. You to me were way out of my league. But then as we got to know each other, we started to get together.
Right.
But it was like that was the thing. It was, from my perspective, I look at it like I'll never get someone like that.
Well, no, I think what it is, we were just complete opposites, and I was attracted to you for your qualities of handling situations, things like that. Obviously, your looks. You marked off all the check marks, and for me, but we were still are complete opposites. But I think that makes it work, and we end up doing everything together.
Right.
Because we come from two different sides and angles of looking at things. Like, it could be the simplest thing, like I might have to do a chore around the house or go trim a tree branch and I'm going at it and you're like, well, no, dear, you have the wrong saw, so.
Yeah.
And then once we resolve it could be something as simple as that all the way to handling an emergency situation where you're the calm one and
I think it is funny because when you look at like commonalities between us, we don't have a lot of commonalities between us, but when we get together and do something, we work so well together and we work off of each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the different perspectives, the two different perspectives of what we bring to it, and then it turns out to be great.
Right, well, hence our little fun videos that we've done in the past. Like, I like the artistic side and dressing up, obviously, doing things like that, and then you're more handling all the microphones, things like that, and you enjoy that, so.
Right. And
same with, like I said, even eating dinner. I like cooking and you like eating.
That's right. You know that. Exactly. And it's all good. It's all good stuff too. Yeah.
I don't know, not all the time.
And the experimenting of different foods that we've done.
Yeah, but you've always let me know. Yeah, you'll tell me no, don't make that again. Because I want an honest answer. And I think that's the other thing. We've struggled to be honest with each other over the years about a lot of things. And now we're in a happy place where we lay it on the table and, it's easy to compromise and you have to be flexible in a relationship.
Right.
And that's why, thanks for having me in your music studio. This is your territory and I respect it. I would never come in here and do things and, bring my art, like I like doing my artwork and things like that. I would never take up this space. I respect this space, and that's where I see us meeting in the middle and respecting each other too.
Yeah, I think that having this studio out here has allowed me to be into my escape, what I want to do. I can come in here and I can start recording music or laying down tracks for things, and I could end up being lost for 10 hours and not even realize what time it is.
An all day Saturday.
Yeah, but now with you, you also have other hobbies. So let's talk about what you do outside.
Well, I'm not into music as much as you are, unless you pull me in and want to go to a concert or things like that. And I am mostly a person who enjoys nature. I have a horse. We have a horse, I should say, Olga, retired thoroughbred, and I ride her. Pleasure riding, that just takes me away, just like something in comparison with your music.
Right.
I also enjoy doing my artwork, not as much as I used to. I have to be in a place where I see something that motivates me. I'm not there at this time yet. I probably will be. Busy working, 9 to 5 job, so I'm focusing on that right now rather than the artwork so much. But it's mostly nature, hiking, riding our bikes, things like that. I enjoy to do, and of course working on the house and doing chores like that. I enjoy that. Yeah,
you like a lot of the outdoor things.
Yeah.
Probably more than
I have to drag you out sometimes. But we did buy those e-bikes, and those are the best thing because you're having a grand old time on yours.
Oh, yeah.
0 to 60 in 8 seconds.
Oh, yeah. I think it's great. I'd never be able to make it past the driveway, on a regular bike, and now we have these.
Well, neither could I, though. I mean, that's hard, because when I ride, Olga, I'm relaxed and in my zone. I don't have to put in a lot of effort on, but get on one of those bikes and don't turn on the battery in these hills where we live. In the mountains, it's hard pedaling up those hills, so it's a blessing to have that, and we get to do different things. I think this weekend we're going to go on a picnic, right? We're going to put a picnic basket on the back of the bike and go find some trails and find a good spot to sit down on a big rock and enjoy lunch.
Oh yeah. I think just getting away, even though we have our own environments, like I think that we really have like 3 aspects of the house. We have the house itself,
right,
and then we go into our own little worlds. Stage left, stage right. You go outside.
Yeah.
You have Olga out there that you enjoy, You like to work on the outside of the house, and then I come into the studio. I come in here, and I'll put tracks together, or I'll do things out here. So I think that we each have our own escape, but then we meet again in the middle in the house, and then we start doing things together.
Right.
And I think that that's really the best part of it, is that even though they say opposites attract, and even though we are completely opposite people when it comes to like what we want to do, we come together and we really have a good time together.
Yeah.
It's not like we have nothing in common, we can't stand to be around each other.
Right.
We have a good time when we're with each other, and I think that that's important. I think that's a big deal. I could do my thing, you can do your thing, and a lot of times we get together on those things. You'll come in here, we did 2 videos together.
Exactly.
We're doing this right now.
Yeah, your podcast.
I go out there.
Congratulations on your first podcast, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so looking at your podcast, what do you hope to see as it goes down the road with all your guests?
Yeah.
What's your goal?
Well, I think the big thing is talking about 2 different perspectives on the same music. So when people are looking at a musician going to a show and performing versus a person who is not a musician, what they get out of that show, what the musician puts into it, I think there's a lot of people who don't really understand what a musician does and how they put into it. They just assume, well, you're a musician, you don't need to practice, you don't need to do this. When you get to a show that you go and see, a concert, a venue, any kind of place you go to, everything's all set up, everything is all done, and the production is already there, and then you have, as you're playing, you have, the sound and everything else.
And I don't see everything.
That's a continual insanity, Right, and a lot of people don't see any of that, so I think getting the perspective of both sides, I think will be interesting, and I think it'll be something that people may open their eyes up to and go, oh wow, I didn't realize that. And I think us as musicians would realize, so that's what you see. Because we need that feedback from your side to say, I watched your show, and the truth is, I couldn't hear the guitar at all. Or it was very loud, or something like that. We don't hear that. Only the audience, we hear on stage, and I know a lot of people may not realize it, but it is nowhere near as loud on stage as it is out there.
Right.
But the problem is that we don't hear like the guitar player a lot, because if our sound is not right, the sound isn't coming through our monitors correctly, and I can't hear my vocals, I can't hear my bass. There's a lot of things you can't hear. A lot of it just sounds muffled on stage, and a lot of people don't know that. So we really don't know what it sounds like after the stage, Right. So the sound is a lot different. So, and I know that I've even asked you before, how does it sound? And you're probably thinking, why are you asking me? You're the one playing, but really, it is a big difference in how it looks and how it sounds. So, that is a big thing.
Exactly.
So now what would be your future concerts that you would want to go and see? Because I know that, for us, we kind of got spoiled with that Wayne Newton.
That was a lot of fun.
With the meet and greet, front row. I mean,
meet and greets are important. I think meet and greets are important, but when COVID hit, that all came to a halt. Are they coming back again? I don't know.
They stopped them. I think they got a little out of hand with, they got pricey. Some of these performers were looking at $1,000 just to meet.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
That's a problem.
Right. I would really have to like a song or something from somebody to really go see them in concert. It just takes one song. If I like one song they're singing, I want to see their concert. Yeah. There's a lot of people playing in Vegas. I know Liam and Heather, they went to go see Bruno Mars. Right. They went to, there's who else is playing there? Adele now. Beyonce was on her tour. Taylor Swift. Harry Styles. I probably would have liked to see Harry Styles. I probably would have liked to see him.
And Bruno Mars. I would love to see
Bruno Mars. Yeah, he's very talented.
Right.
I know you. What was your first concert? Wasn't it Prince?
No, my first concert was Kiss. Back in the day.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah. It was.
That had to been
It was
insane.
I think it was the late '70s, maybe the early '70s. I was young. It was in the I think it was late 70s, I think. And it was crazy. It was like a Kiss Alive tour.
In Chicago?
In Chicago, yeah. And I've never seen them. I wasn't a fan. Back in that day, it was like, they wore makeup. They were dressing up. It was like, who are these people?
So they were first starting out.
They were popular. They just came out with Beth, which Beth was one of their biggest hits, where Peter Criss sang it. The drummer came out and sang it. So I don't know what year that was, but I think it was late 70s, sometime in the 70s. But anyway, I thought it was a phenomenal show. I mean, I walked in there, thinking that liking Kiss was not cool. I left there a fan because of the theatrics and because of, seeing them, breathe fire and the guitar shooting sparks out through it. It was a great show. For me, I was used to going to concerts. After that, I would start seeing other concerts because that was my first one. I would start seeing other concerts, and there was no theatrics.
So they were the beginning of the theatrics.
Yeah. They pretty much started all of the thing with the glam, the makeup, the explosions.
Right, and that's what I look forward to, like when we saw
Right.
Gwen Stefani, like the stage presence and not so much taking it away from the music, but putting
Right.
that together with the music for
Right.
a great show.
And that's what it is now. But a lot of people back in the day looked at it as it's the music that's important. We're just going to go up on stage and we're just going to perform. There's not going to be any theatrics.
Did they ever say why they wore all the makeup and did all that costume?
Yeah, I don't remember. There was. It was. They were taking on different personas of sorts, but I don't remember. But they were the innovators of all of that. I mean, you see what came out of it afterwards. Motley Crue.
And they never showed their
like that.
faces. Kiss never showed their faces.
They never showed. If
their
you
faces. Saw them on the street, you would never know
Right.
it was them. What I think. That's pretty cool.
They never showed their
They had
faces
their
in
privacy
public,
then
right.
still.
And it was after some of the original band members left that they did an unmasking. It happened on MTV.
Oh, really?
They did an actual unmasking of Kiss, and then they showed them. But that kind of dragged them down because then their popularity went way down after that, and then they had to come back again and do like a comeback thing with putting the makeup back on.
Makes you wonder if they never did that. Where would they be today?
I know.
Everybody has their journey.
Yeah. But they really gone through a big transition of where they were. You go from a thing of being laughed at as a theatrical, glam rock thing of like a lot of people aren't into, and then the genres change. Progressive rock came in, and then Kiss music was looked at as that's bubblegum rock. It's not not real. Listen to the lyrics. Then you had bands come out there who were, like a lot of people were into Led Zeppelin at the time too, because they came out in the late 60s. And that was looked at as sophisticated music, a great show that they put on, not a ton of theatrics, but they did, Jimmy Page with the guitar bow, with the violin bow that he played guitar with, and just the stage presence alone, that was rock. And then you had someone like Kiss come along in makeup, and it was like, what's that, But then progressive rock came along, Rush came along, all these other bands came along, and that type of theatrics kind of went down.
Then grunge hit.
And and there was no theatrics in grunge.
Let's just jump in the audience.
Right. And they wore shorts and t-shirts and things like that on stage, and so it changed. But then people started seeing the nostalgic end of it, and it really came around back again. I think, when did they get back together? In 2000 or something like that? I don't know if they did a comeback tour. But yeah, music has definitely taken and evolved over the years into something.
Before you ask me who I'd like to see, who I'd love to see, which I don't think he's even doing any more shows, is Eminem.
Oh,
I would have really liked to see him.
Yeah, true. I would too.
I'd like to see Snoop Dogg. I think Snoop Dogg does appearances here. So if he ever comes to Phoenix, you've got to look for Snoop Dogg. I'd go to see him in a flash.
Yeah. I think Snoop Dogg would be good. I think any of the innovators really would be great to see.
Yeah.
So I think that would be fun.
Great.
All right, so we are reaching the end of where we need to be today. So we have we're going to be doing these podcasts every week, and we're going to have different musicians on with different perspectives. We're going to have fans of the music on, or the wives of the musicians, even, which I think worked out great.
Yeah.
Where we can talk about different perspectives. So join us for our Living in the Limelight podcast. And Audrey, thank you for joining me on my first one, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Thank you for having me here.
All right.
It was such a pleasure.
All right.
And happy Halloween.
Good.
Peace to the world. Give me a kiss. I'm the only one that you kiss. Thank you, dear.